Today we're going to talk about tables and how to best use them when editing your SMCPS system web page with the Joomla 3 editor. So first step, make sure you're logged in to your editing account. Go to a page that you have editing rights to and look for the editing button in the top right. We're going to click it and enter editing mode. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is get my cursor down here at the bottom by itself, and we're going to take a look at the toolbar. At the bottom left of the toolbar, you will see the button for tables. Now, next to it is a drop-down arrow. It is very tempting to hit this drop-down arrow and use this very cool tool to design your table. Do not do this. Unfortunately, in Joomla Editor, this creates tables that are somewhat unstable, and the padding is not consistent, and there's a number of other issues that come up. So what you're going to do is figure out where you want the table, put your cursor there, and just click the actual little table button. That will bring up a pop-up window. By default, it's going to be 2 columns by 2 rows. Columns being top to bottom, rows being left to right. The default cell padding is 5. You should totally just leave that alone. Don't worry about the alignment. I'm going to say 99% of the time are going to want to click this border button so you have a nice definitive border around your table. And the default for width is 95%. What that means is no matter how the browser gets resized, your table will always take up 95% of the width of the table, meaning that there'll be just a little bit of space on either side to form sort of a margin. Now, this is cool. If you know how many columns and rows you need ahead of time, you can definitely change those settings here. But for our example, we're just going to leave it at 2 and 2 with 5 cell padding. We're going to check the border box, and we're going to go ahead and hit Insert. I don't need to go to this Advanced tab, so let's go ahead and jump in there. Okay, now it's important for me to point out that what you see in editing mode is not what you get at the end. So when you hit save, when you're all finished making your table, the table will look slightly different than what it looks like right now. Right now it has these little white boxes everywhere. The border is extremely dynamic. It's a thick white border with a black stroke around it. That's not what it's going to look like at the end, so don't worry about that yet. Alright, so let's go over some of these table tools. First and foremost, you can delete the table. So if I click this button, my table is deleted. Next to that is the ability to affect an entire row of cells and to affect a single cell. We're going to come back to those later. They're not that important at this time. With recent 508 compliance rules, you generally are only going to be using tables if you need to present and organize data. And even then, you want to keep it as clean and simple as possible. Now, in the past, individuals have used tables to actually format the layout of their website. That is no longer allowed under the 508 compliance rules, and it's generally not good web design anyways. So there's plenty of other tools in place for that kind of stuff. So nowadays, tables are really just used to present useful data in a clean and concise manner. So let's continue talking about the tools. If we decided we needed to add another row, there is a button to add a row above wherever your cursor is or below wherever your cursor is. If we decided we needed to remove a row, whichever row the cursor is in, regardless of the column, it will remove that row. Same thing here. If we needed another column, we can add one to the left of our cursor or to the right of our cursor. And whichever column, doesn't matter which row, whichever column our cursor is in, we can delete that entire column. Alright, here you can split merge table cells. Don't go messing around with this stuff because, again, we need to keep these tables as simplistic as possible. Same thing with merging. Don't worry about merging or splitting any of these cells. So since the primary function of these tables nowadays is to present data, we are going to make a fake data table real quick. So I'm going to put data item. I'm going to put a date, and I'll put another date. And we're going to track how great OSPC is. So we're going to say number of times we saved the day. And we'll put number of times we were awesome. But apparently not awesome at spelling or typing. Okay. I have lots of real data I'm going off of here. In 2016, we saved the day roughly 5,000 times, and we were awesome about 6,000 times. 2017 has just been an incredible year. We've saved the day at least 7,500 times, and we've been awesome 10,000 times. Just really good year. All right, now let's say I'm putting this together and I realize, oh, you know what? I was supposed to include the 2015 data. So I go to the 2016 column. I got my cursor there. And I'm going to add a column to the left, insert column before. And now I have another column. I can go ahead and put 2015. And we were just getting started back then, so we only saved the day 3,000 times. And we were only awesome 4,000 times. So you can see there's a dramatic increase over time in all of this data. Now, that's pretty cool. The data's in there, looks great. However, we are not 100% compliant yet because this top row needs to be set up as a labeled header. Okay. So what we do is we go up here, and we left click and drag all of the cells that we need to turn into headers. Then we go up to this button right here. That's the table cell properties. Looks like a little blue box inside of a very tiny table. And we're going to click that once. And then under cell type, we're going to do a drop down and select header. And then we're going to hit insert. And now we have a beautiful 508 compliant header that presents very useful data. And in order to check our work, we are going to want to hit save. And now you can see the finished table has a beautiful SMCPS blue with white, so it's clearly differentiated from the rest of the table, and looks great. If you need to edit your table, you can always go back and edit it just like you edit any content on your web page. Hopefully this covers everything you need to know about tables. As always, if you need some additional help, please reach out to us.